The parliamentary week began with the resignation of a minister over a conflict of interest in a grants program, and was closing today with the Prime Minister being dragged into another grants controversy.
The Cronulla Sailing Club received more than $8,000 in grant funding.
The only issue about ministerial standards that did seem to be put to bed this week was the future of Angus Taylor. The decision of the Australian Federal Police to not pursue the issue of just who in the office of Mr Taylor forged a City of Sydney Council document with the aim of embarrassing Lord Mayor Clover Moore leaves the question open, but the matter closed. If only from the government's perspective, its administration of grants could be so conveniently closed down. For now, it's just trying to spread the damage, pointing out Labor's own grants controversies 10 years ago.
The awarding of funding to projects disproportionately favoured ALP seats, Mr Speaker.
The row over community sports facilities has only drawn attention to the administration of a range of other grants, not necessarily because of political interference, but dubious administration. The collective amounts of money involved here are significant, even if the individual grants are often small. The Stronger Communities program funds small projects that are approved by local MPs, including toilet blocks, boat sheds and barbecues, like the one that went to the Cronulla Sailing Club in Scott Morrison's electorate. The regional jobs package is funding everything from cheese factories and medical cannabis farms to new industrial and tourism zones. The Auditor-General found 17% of the applications that were not recommended by a panel were funded by government ministers anyway. The government has been accused of inconsistency in the way it decides which councils are eligible for its Drought Communities program. While under the massive $841 million Building Better Regions Fund, 94% of the grants went to electorates either held or targeted by the Coalition at the last election. And then there's the now infamous Sports Infrastructure Scheme, which led to the Morrison government's first ministerial resignation after the auditor found Bridget McKenzie largely ignored independent advice from Sport Australia. A leaked colour-coded spreadsheet proved exactly how many deserving clubs missed out in favour of those in marginal seats. The McKenzie Sport saga has now triggered a Senate inquiry.
The ayes have it.
But political pragmatists know that in the past, governments of both colours have refused to have ministers, their staff or documents provided to the Senate. Leaving aside the political question of whether Senator McKenzie was right to override Sport Australia, the auditor's report also raised the question of whether it was even legal.
Based on the Auditor-General's report, the Sports Commission, in fact, has failed to comply with the Act of Parliament that governs it. Its conduct was unlawful because it accepted direction from the Minister about who to distribute those funds to.
Lawyer Josh Bornstein represented the Australian Workers' Union last year after it was raided by the Registered Organisations Commission and Minister Michaelia Cash revealed one of her staffers had tipped off the media.
We saw quite different processes undertaken by both the Federal Court on the one hand and the Senate on the other. And one of the crucial differences between the two processes is that ministerial advisors don't appear and give evidence in the Senate, but can be compelled to appear and give evidence before a court.
The government has hinted that many clubs which should have received funding in the Community Infrastructure program will get it anyway through further grants. But this has created a problem.
I've had a number of discussions with a number of applicants for sports grants, and one of the key common themes in all of those discussions is a fear of retaliation if they come to court and uphold the law. And to me, that's a sad indictment.
The Public Accounts Committee will have a public hearing into some taxpayer-funded grants programs tomorrow. But this week has demonstrated how difficult it often is to find out how our taxes are really spent.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.